Happy New Year! Coming up on this week's GCN Racing News Show, our top 8 hot takes for 2024. Will any of them come true? Will you agree with any of them? Let's find out. This week in the world of racing, we haven't learned anything yet because it's only just started and this is pre-recorded. So let's crack straight on with it. Here are our top 8 hot takes for the 2024 pro cycling season. Well, I say our hot takes, but since I don't want to make it seem like the entire company doesn't know what they're talking about, I should probably point out they're mine. I couldn't think of 10, that's why it's different to the intro. Right, number 1. Visma Lease Bike won't win a Grand Tour in 2024. Having become the first male team ever to win all 3 Grand Tours in a single season last year, Visma Lease Bike have a lot to live up to this year. Pressure will be mounting. Other teams and riders are lining up to knock them off their perch. Jonas Vingegaard will no doubt start as favourite for this year's Tour de France, but he'll have more competition than ever. Pogacar will be back for revenge, Roglic will be out to show who's boss, and Evenepoel will be there to throw a spanner in the works at any moment. At the Giro, Wout van Aert was rumoured to be going for GC, but he's since refuted that. Now, of course, they will still have GC riders and big ambitions at the Giro and the Vuelta and the Tour, but I just have a sneaky feeling things aren't going to be quite so smooth for Visma this year. That said, hot take number 2 is that Wout van Aert will win a monument. This might not sound like a hot take. I mean, Wout van Aert is one of the best riders in the world after all, but his record at winning monuments is actually quite poor given how good a bike rider he is. His consistency is second to none. He hasn't been outside the top 8 at the last 11 monuments he started, and he's never finished lower than 22nd. However, his one win remains the 2020 Milano-San Remo. Now, Belgian pundits and fans will tell you that's not good enough, and to be perfectly honest, I think they're right. The calibre of rider that Wout van Aert is, he should have won at least 3 monuments, in my opinion, by now. This is his year, though. He's done less cyclocross, he's focused his whole winter on the Spring Classics, and now is his time to shine. Number 3, Lotte Kopecky will win Liège-Bastogne-Liège. This has got to be a hot take, surely. I mean, she's never even raced Liège-Bastogne-Liège before. However, I think she should, given how well she was climbing last year, especially at the Tour de France Femmes. I don't think that a win in Liège is at all out of the reach. Far from it, in fact, particularly given the strength of her team SD Works, which brings me nicely on to number 4. SD Works will fill all 3 podium steps at the Tour of Flanders. I mean, that's not exactly going out on a limb, given that they filled the first 2 steps already last year. With Kopecky, Vollering, Reusser, Wiebes and the returning Chantal van den Broek-Black, they're more than capable of complete domination this year at that race. Trek Segafredo might have something to say about it, and a few others as well, so we shall see. Next up, number 5, Josh Charley will become elite world time trial champion in Zurich this September. Now, he may have been over half a minute off the times of Evenepoel and Ganna at last year's World Championships, but he did that at the age of 19, and in his first year out of the junior ranks. By Zurich this year, he'll be another year older, wiser and stronger, and in theory, there should still be some big attainable leaps in performance at that age. He's already a beast on a bike. Next year, he's going to be a monster. Number 6 then, Arnaud Delis will win Milano-San Remo. I think I was already bigging up Arnaud Delis for that race last year, and I'm sticking with it despite him finishing in 95th place. He's just got so much raw power, and I reckon he's more than capable of getting his large frame over the Cipressa and Poggio climbs somewhere near the front. And if it does come back for a small group sprint, he seems to be somebody that doesn't lose any of his sprint power and speed at the end of a long race. Now, it will have been 8 years since a group larger than 10 contested the win on the Via Roma at Milan-San Remo, but I certainly don't put it past Delis making a selection smaller than that on his day. Number 7 is going to be my least popular on my list. Mark Cavendish won't take that 35th Tour de France stage win. Now, I should caveat that by saying I would absolutely love to see it, I just don't think it's going to happen. Cavendish is going to be 39 years old by the time the Tour de France starts this year. Only one rider older than that has ever won a stage at the Tour de France, and that was Pino Cerami at the age of 41 back in 1963. The oldest sprinter ever to have won a stage at the Tour de France was Alessandro Petacchi at 36. So as much as it would be a fairy tale ending to a glittering career, the stats suggest it ain't going to happen. And finally, number 8, Nairo Quintana will podium the Giro d'Italia. Now, believe it or not, of the 17 Grand Tours that Nairo Quintana has ridden, only 2 have been the Giro d'Italia, although they have treated him quite well. He won on debut in 2014 and finished just half a minute behind Tom Dumoulin 4 years later. That was the last time that he finished on a Grand Tour podium, incidentally, which will be 7 years by the time this year's race rolls around. But it's a race that suits him perfectly. He loves the high altitude climbs and he doesn't mind bad weather either. With Enric Mas likely to focus on the Tour de France and the Vuelta again, it makes sense to send Nairo Quintana to the Giro. If they do, I find it hard to see him finishing off the podium, to be perfectly honest, particularly given how hungry he'll be after a year in the wilderness. With Pogačar in attendance though, winning it might be a tall order. Right, time for me to throw it out to you at home. What are your hot takes for 2024? Which of mine do you agree with? Which are complete tosh? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you get a calendar reminder set in your phone as well for the end of the season so you can see how many of them I got completely wrong. Probably all of them, let's face it, but it was a bit of fun. Right, I'll be back with a proper racing news update this time next week to wrap up all the news from the last few weeks, so I hope to see you all then.